we explore one of the most instrumental and influential student campaigns by the University Student Senate to get free Metro cards for CUNY students. Today, I have the pleasure of joining the president of the undergraduate student government of the City College of New York. Hi, Aila.
Hello.
How are you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
Good, good. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Aila Choudhary. I am the president of the CCNY undergraduate student government. I'm currently in my fourth and final year, and I'm very excited to be doing this interview.
Well, congratulations on your election.
Thank you
I know
so
it's a
much.
big deal, and I'm sure you're going to do an amazing job. Can you tell us a little bit about your student leadership journey? What brought you here?
Yeah, so I started in student government from really my very first day at CCNY as a freshman. I learned about it. I was very interested in it, especially because at the time we were impacted by COVID-19. So I saw like how much work we could use to revamp student life and campus life. So it was something that really interested in me, and I spent my first year as a senator. My sophomore year, I got to be able to experience the role as VP of Campus Affairs, which was amazing, and it helped a lot with, my passion for revamping student life and being able to plan events and bring that kind of energy back on campus that we were missing. My junior year, I got to be the executive vice president, and now I'm very honored to be able to be the president.
And you're a computer science major.
Yep.
In your last year being student government.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? What's the reaction of the people around you seeing a computer science major being in the student politics environment?
Yeah, so people are always very shocked, especially because I think I've made myself a familiar face when it comes to student government, because I've been here for so long. And then when they hear my major, they're like, what? Like, you've been here in student government for that long and you've been that invested and you're doing engineering. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's never been something that I viewed as, oh, this would be perfect to like look great on my resume or like it would be perfect to advance my career. I always thought of it as something that I was genuinely passionate about, as a hobby, and as just feeling like I could make a difference on the campus that I'm at every single day. So my academic life and my student government life are definitely two very separate things, but I'm very grateful to be a part of it because it gives me a great way to keep myself busy other than academics. And in a way, it helps me improve my academics because it gets my mind off of it and doing something that's at the same time very productive. So when I explain like that aspect of it to people, they're like, okay, we understand now. But definitely still very shocking.
I can definitely relate to you, especially on the part of student government and all these other things getting your mind off of classes. When you get back to your classes, you're just more focused because you feel like you took a break. I think that it's a good balance. And now as SGA president, you are leading the group of USS delegates and alternates that will be serving this year. And I'm sure you've encountered other USS delegates and alternates in your previous roles in student government. What was your reaction when you first heard about USS trying to fight for free Metro cards?
I was very excited when I heard about the campaign because it's something that I've also felt over the years is a necessity for CUNY students. We are so unique compared to other universities where based on campuses all around the city, and this city is dependent on public transportation. It's our pretty much only way of getting around efficiently. And so because it's such a core part of every student's life, it's almost like too hard to ignore the fact that students need to be able to access free transportation to be able to get to where they want to. I've personally seen so many students that feel hesitant to go to class or to attend extracurricular activities or pursue opportunities during the weekend because they feel like they can't afford it and it doesn't fit into their budget. And it's something that really disheartens me to see that because I feel like every CUNY student kind of feels connected to each other. So when you see your peers that are hesitant to even make it to class because of the public transportation aspect, it really makes me realize how necessary this is. So I was very excited and pleased when I heard that this was something that we were pursuing.
Yeah, and I'm happy to hear that it's something that really spoke to you and your student constituency. But sad to hear about the experiences of students because it's like a basic necessity at this point. Tell me, how do you commute to campus yourself?
So I take public transportation. I take a bus and a train.
Okay.
So obviously I'm very familiar with it. And I think every CCNY student knows that most of us experience very long commutes because we're, in Harlem, we're at like the edge of the city. A lot of students come here from Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island. So their commutes end up being well over an hour. And that's something that I can relate to as well. So I'm very well versed when it comes to public transportation.
This is very interesting because I feel like there is an assumption that every student wants to be on a campus that is close to where they live. And we're at the City College of New York, and I'm hearing that most of the students, a lot of the students that at least you encounter, live outside, live really far from here. What's your commute time?
My commute time is about an hour and 30 minutes.
Where do you live? Which neighborhood?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I go to City Tech and I live in Harlem. My commute time is 40 to 45 minutes.
Right.
I thought that was an exception. And it's just very interesting. Because I can assure you, I've heard this thing where, oh, you live in Harlem, you want to come to the Harlem campus. But I think with CUNY also, there's a campus that offers your major.
Right.
It's not only location, it's the major, it's the professor. Sometimes there's repetition of the campus, and sometimes you just want to see something new and something different. Okay. Do you have an idea about how much you spend on public transportation usually?
So I definitely spend, given that the fare is $2.90 now, it goes to at least $6 a day, like coming to school and then going back home. But there are days where it's way more. Like I know a lot of students when they commute this far to campus and they end up having breaks in the middle of the day and longer gaps. And there's other opportunities out there for them to explore that they also have to take the train to access those opportunities. So their spending daily ends up being way more. And I know for a lot of students, it ends up costing them at least $10 on regular days just to commute to campus and go back home.
And then there's the food. And then there are other expenses that students have to make daily. The other responsibilities could be student internships that they have to go to, or probably going to the hospital or other things. Okay. Have you heard in your circle that the LIRR was important in the Metro North, or in this area we're more so just talking about student Metro cards, Omni, and just the regular train?
Yeah, so I am aware of a lot of students here are from Long Island, actually.
Okay.
So I am aware of students that take the LIRR. And that's also something that we don't have an LIRR station near our campus, of course. So even to access that station, they have to take a train from here to transfer to the LIRR. So the total cost ends up being a lot more for them as well. Not only do they have to pay for the MTA, but then they also have to pay for their LIRR transportation. So that kind of just adds to it as well, is they kind of can't really cut costs anywhere. It would be a lot easier for them potentially if they didn't have to pay for the MTA at least, and could access free transportation through there. But there are definitely students that rely on the LIRR to get here.
There's so much work to do. We've heard from different students, you're not even asking for the whole package with this campaign. We're talking about only student Metro cards or Omni now, but then at some point we'll have to expand to like LIRR and the Metro North, because we also have students that use these services. As the president now, how are you planning to make sure that the delegates and alternates from CCNY actively participate in this campaign to make it successful?
Yeah, so I think that our USG is very lucky because we are a very tight-knit group and we always have been. And the delegates that we have for USS, I've been in a lot of conversations with them about their passion for USS and why they want to be there. And they're genuinely very passionate about it. And I think that, we kind of always make sure that we're in communication with each other about the things that matter and that we put up a united front so that the things that we do want to pursue and we want to see happen, we'll tackle it together. So even the USG members that aren't in USS are there to back them and support them for the things that we want to pursue and see happen. So even with a campaign like this, we don't feel disconnected when I don't ever have to feel unsure about what the USS delegates are pursuing and if they're even going to pursue this campaign and help out with it, because I know that with our communication and how much we keep each other in the loop about things, that it is something that they definitely will do.
Beautiful organizing, right?
Yeah.
Students coming together,
exactly.
same interests, and just working together to make it happen. And for me, it's always so beautiful and touching when I think about the fact that nobody tells us what to do. Nobody is forcing us to do any of this. We decide to come into leadership. We decide to create these bonds and communicate effectively in order to reach a goal.
Yeah.
And CCNY has been a major campus. When I was learning about USS and stuff, I know about the history of CCNY in USS and beyond. You all do great work, and I'm sure you'll continue doing that. So how do you feel when you hear the term the power of one voice? What that makes you think of?
Yeah, I mean, I love that phrase because for me, I think it resonates a lot with CCNY, especially. My time in student government, we've been able to accomplish so much for different communities, but I can say for a fact that none of it would have been possible without a united front and without us coming together. The way I see it is, if I were to kind of shout something right now, no one on the other side of campus would hear me. But if I had a group of 100 students that were shouting the same thing, we would be heard. So it's always important to me to make sure that we're supporting each other and that we're unified as a campus and as a student government in every single aspect to help each other tackle these issues. So when I hear power of one voice, it just represents so much unity to me, which I think is so important because all of our voices coming together is what makes the difference to tackle these issues that we see. And I truly believe that unity is the way to do it.
No, you're truly inspirational.
Thank you.
Everybody needs to hear this. Thank you so much, Aila, for your time
course.
today. And I wish you the best of luck in
Thank
your
you so
last
much.
year in CCNY and as the president.
Thank you so much. I feel very honored to have spoken to you. Thank you so much for having me. I wish you the best of luck as well.
Thank you.
And I hope to keep in touch and see this campaign come to fruition.
Thank you so much.
Of course.